When people try to get a job in Sweden, they usually do the same things. They fix their CV, they apply to more roles, they try to improve their Swedish. And it all makes sense. That's what you're supposed to do. But after a while, you might start noticing something a bit strange. Some people who are not necessarily more qualified are getting opportunities, and you're not. And that's when the question comes up, am I doing something wrong? Or just doing the right things in the wrong way? In the last video, I talked about why it can feel so hard, and I mentioned a few small adjustments that can actually make a difference. In this video, I want to show you what those actually looked like for me in real life. One of the first things I had to unlearn was the idea that if I just applied enough, something would eventually happen. Because I tried that, sending applications, waiting, checking emails, and nothing really moved. What actually started changing things was when I stopped focusing only on applications and started talking to people instead. And I don't mean networking in a formal, business-like way. Just normal conversations with people around me. People like my ISFI teachers, people I met casually, even parents from school, or sometimes just reaching out to someone, not to ask for a job, but just trying to understand how things work here. Something as simple as, I'm quite new to working life in Sweden. Would you mind sharing your experience on how to apply and what's like working here? And surprisingly, a lot of things started from there. I also used Arbetsförmedlingen quite actively, not by registering with them and just waiting for them to give me a job, but by actually using it, talking to people there, asking questions, and following up on leads myself. That's actually how I got my first opportunity, which later led to my first professional job here. And the key thing I learned was, don't wait for someone to give you a job. Use whatever you get and turn it into conversations. And when you talk to employers, instead of asking if they have a position, start by showing what you can offer, so they see you as someone who brings value, not someone asking for a favor. And once I started having those conversations, I noticed another problem. People didn't really understand what I had done before. I remember saying I'm an ACCA qualified accountant, but it didn't really mean much to them. So I had to change how I explain things. Instead of talking about titles and qualifications, I started explaining what I actually did, what I worked on, what problems I solved, and what results I created. For example, instead of saying I worked in finance in London, I would say something like, I automated a manual invoicing process and reduced the invoicing time from 8 hours to 3. Now people can actually picture it. And something else I didn't expect. Even things outside work helped. Things like volunteering, helping others, and taking part in group activities. Because here, people are also trying to understand how you work with others. And then there was another thing that felt a bit uncomfortable. Following up. Where I worked before, you apply, and then you wait. But here in Sweden, it's quite common to reach out again, to send a message, to call, to remind people that you exist. At the beginning, it feels like you're disturbing people, but actually it shows that you take initiative and makes you a real person, not just a CV. Because otherwise, you're just another application in a system. And the reality today is, a lot of applications never even reach a real person. They get screened out by a system first. So if you manage to speak to someone and they remember you, you've already done something most people haven't. And then there was probably the hardest part for me, letting go of the idea that things would continue the same way. I thought I would just continue where I left off, but sometimes you have to take a step sideways first. Try something slightly different, help out somewhere, take on a short project, or even do something outside your field. In some cases, even work for free at the beginning. It's not ideal, but it gives people a chance to see how you work and who you are. And once you get that first opportunity, even a small one, it becomes much easier to move forward from there. Looking back, it wasn't that I needed to try harder. I just need to approach things differently. Because here in Sweden, it's not only about what's written on your CV, it's more about whether they understand your background, whether they can see you fitting in and working well with the team. And if you're currently trying to get your first job in Sweden and not sure what to focus on, I've opened a few free one-to-one sessions. You can find the link in the description. Once you understand how it works, things start to move forward.